So, have you ever found yourself in a situation where, like, everything you thought you knew about someone, or maybe even about yourself, just turned out completely different?
Oh, absolutely. Where what you see on the surface, it's just a tiny hint of something much, much deeper, right?
Exactly. That kind of aha moment, that's what we're really diving into today.
We're looking at excerpts from Lloyd Alexander's The Castle of Llyr. That's book 3 of the Chronicles of Prydain.
Right, the high fantasy series set in that magical ancient land. And our mission here isn't just to retell the story, is it?
No, not at all. We want to dig into Alexander's ideas about identity, leadership, which pops up in surprising places, and, how courage shows up when people get pushed.
And Alexander himself kind of pointed us this way, didn't he? In the author's note for this book.
He did. He mentioned his intention was really to focus on the heroine, Eilonwy, make her journey just as important and, frankly, perilous as the heroes.
He has that great line, "For each of us comes a time when we must be more than what we are."
And that applies to everyone in this book. The princess, sure, but also the clumsy prince, and definitely the assistant pig keeper, Taran.
It's fascinating how he uses all the fantasy stuff, the magic, the creatures, to shine a light on, as he put it, our own frailties and our own strengths.
Yeah, it makes the journey feel, well, he calls it bittersweet sometimes funny, but always revealing something really human underneath all the adventure.
Okay, so let's get into that journey. Let's start with the heroine, Princess Eilonwy. She's at a bit of a turning point, right?
He is. She's leaving Caer Dallben, which she knows well, because Dallben the Enchanter has ordered her to go to the Isle of Mona for princess lessons.
Yeah, lessons in princessly behavior.
Yeah.
And she's not exactly thrilled about it.
Not even slightly. Her reaction is so perfectly Eilonwy. She just comes right out and says, I don't care about being a princess. And since I'm already a young lady, how else could I behave?
Huh. It shows her spirit right away. She's definitely not your typical damsel in distress. She has opinions, strong ones.
She really does. And while she's making her feelings known, Taran, our assistant pig keeper, he's having his own internal struggle.
Right. Outwardly, he's trying to convince himself, oh, it'll be quiet now,
Exactly. But inside, Alexander writes, his heart feels strangely heavy. And then later, he just can't help it. He bursts out, I shall miss her. It's very raw.
It really is. And Cole, the old warrior, he sees this, doesn't he? He gives Karen some pretty deep advice.
He does. He says, it may be we know least what we treasure most, which is just, wow. Alexander really nails how sometimes we don't realize what someone means to us until they're gone or about to be.
That feeling of needing absence to really understand presence, it's powerful.
Definitely. And this whole idea of misjudging things or people not seeing their true value, that seems like a theme Alexander plays with right from the start, especially with first impressions.
Oh, yeah. Almost immediately, we meet Prince Rhun of Nona, and his entrance is memorable.
Memorable is one word for it. Alexander paints him as just incredibly clumsy, but sort of cheerfully clumsy. He falls in the water, almost drops his sword, tries to steer a ship, and it's a total disaster.
And Taran, being Taran, is instantly annoyed, sees him as a feckless, muddle-headed baby. He actually mutters something, doesn't he?
He does. If the sailors listened to him, we'd be aground in no time. I've never seen anyone so feckless. You can just picture Taran shaking his head.
You really can. But Eilonwy defends him. She admits he seems a little dense, but she adds that she's sure he has a good heart.
It's interesting, isn't it? Taran sees the incompetence, Eilonwy looks for the intention. Is she just being nice or seeing something deeper?
I think maybe both. And that's kind of the point Alexander's making. He's asking us, the readers, to look beyond that surface clumsiness, just like Eilonwy is trying to. His worth about ability or character.
Yes, exactly. And then there's another character who completely messes with first impressions. Fflewddur Fflam.
The wandering bard, whose harp strings snap when he stretches the truth.
That's the one. And we find him complaining because the chief steward, Mag, has basically stuck him in the stables. Mag doesn't think he's a real bard.
So Fflewddur feels pretty slighted. Another case of underestimation, even if it's played a bit for laughs here.
Precisely. But then comes the big one, the really shocking reveal.
The shoemaker.
The shoemaker, this humble, old-looking guy fixing shoes who quietly tells Taran, tell no one who I am, and then, boom.
He reveals he's actually Prince Gwydion of Dawn, the greatest warrior in Prydain. Just like that.
Yeah. Talk about deceptive appearances. The stakes just instantly go through the roof. Gwydion whispers this urgent warning. Eilonwy's life is in danger. Taran's life, too.
It's a huge aha
Yeah.
moment for Taran and for us. It drives home that point.
Yeah.
Don't judge by the cover. Real power can be hidden.
Absolutely. It sets the stage perfectly. True identity, true capability. It's often masked, sometimes deliberately, under something ordinary or even awkward. Greatness isn't always loud.
So Gwydion, still in disguise, tells Taran the real threat isn't Aeron, the main villain we expect.
Right. It's Achren, the enchantress they all thought was dead. That's a serious curveball.
Huge. And her backstory is key here, isn't it? She used to rule Prydain, was Aeron's consort, lost her power, partly because of Eilonwy finding that sword, Dyrnwyn.
Exactly. And Gwydion suspects Achren wants Eilonwy for more than just revenge. He senses this something other. She wants to use Eilonwy's own potential power.
Which Eilonwy herself doesn't even seem aware of yet.
Not at all. And what's more, Gwydion reveals that Dolben, back at Cara Dolben, he knew Achren was alive.
Seriously. So sending Eilonwy away.
Uh-huh. Sending Eilonwy to Mona, sending Gwydion to investigate.
Oh.
It was all part of Dolben's larger strategy. He's playing the long game.
Wow. Dolben's always thinking several moves ahead. But poor Taran is stuck in the middle.
He really is. He has this impossible job. Protect Eilonwy, but Gwydion has ordered him to keep the danger a secret.
Yeah.
He can't tell her why she needs protecting.
Which naturally leads to Eilonwy getting really frustrated with him. She thinks he's just being overly cautious, maybe even cowardly.
Yeah, she accuses him of losing his nerve, which has gotta hurt Taran, especially with how he's starting to feel about her, even if he doesn't admit it.
That tension is so well done. The burden of knowing something you can't share, trying to protect someone who doesn't see the threat.
And then Taran makes another discovery, adding another layer of deceit. Mag, the chief steward,
Right. He catches Mag signaling a ship at night.
confirms Mag is working for Achren. He's her willing creature, as Gwydion puts it, driven purely by vanity and ambition, wants power, recognition.
But Gwydion decides not to expose him right away.
No, classic Gwydion strategy. Let Mag think he's getting away with it. Use him. Let him lead them deeper into Acren's actual plans.
Let the smaller spider lead you to the bigger web.
Exactly. Mag's so full of himself, he doesn't realize he's just a pawn. Fflewddur later calls him a sneering spider, which is perfect. His vanity makes him easy to manipulate.
Okay, so things are getting complicated. And then we get these moments of revelation, characters really showing their true selves, like the king's plan for Eilonwy and Rhun.
Yes, King Rudlem reveals he hopes Eilonwy and Prince Rhun will marry eventually, which obviously hits Taran hard, though he keeps it inside.
That adds another layer to his burden. But the king's decision about the search party, that's interesting.
It is. Eilonwy gets lost, or rather wanders off, seeking adventure and gets into trouble, and
Yeah.
the king puts Rhun nominally in charge of the search party, but he makes Taran swear an oath to protect Rhun.
Even though he knows Rhun is, well, feckless.
Yes. He tells Taran he's doing it specifically to help Rhun grow, to become worthy of being king someday. It's about legacy, responsibility, but it's definitely a test for both of them.
And does it work? Does Rhun grow?
Amazingly, yes. After more typical Rhun bumbling, getting them lost in a cavern, nearly drowning, he has this breakthrough moment, in the dark, facing real danger.
What happens?
He finally confronts his own incompetence, says something like, "If I had the sense of an earthworm, I'd be proud." But then he says he truly wants to be worthy of being a prince.
Ah, so it's the desire, the self-awareness.
Exactly. And Taran hears this, sees this shift, and his whole perception changes. He stops seeing the clumsy kid and starts seeing a truer prince and better man.
So what triggers that change? Is it just the danger?
I think it's the danger combined with the responsibility, yeah. And maybe for the first time, he's not relying on his title. His actions matter. And admit his faults, wanting to be better, that's huge. That humility unlocks his potential.
And this ties into Eilonwy's bauble, doesn't it? The golden sphere.
Perfectly. The Pelidrin. It's not just a pretty light. We find out it only shines brightly for someone acting out of pure selflessness.
So it lights for Eilonwy.
Yes, and for Taran when he's only thinking of her safety. But in that cavern, when Rhun basically offers to sacrifice himself for them,
It shines brightest for him.
brightest of all, it's like a visible measure of inner goodness. True light comes from selflessness, not ambition like Mag's or Acren's. It becomes this moral compass.
Wow. Okay, and speaking of unexpected courage, what about Glew and Llyan?
Huh. Yes, Glew, the little guy who accidentally turned himself into a giant with his own potions. And his pet, Llyan, who's basically a giant mountain cat.
That whole sequence is kind of funny, but also really tense.
It is. Poor Fflewddur has to keep playing his harp to soothe the giant cat who looks hungry, and he bravely offers to stay behind so the others can escape.
And even Call the Crow helps.
Right. Caw dives in, pecks at Llyan, creates just enough distraction for them to get away. It shows heroism comes in all shapes and sizes, not just the designated hero.
Even Gurgi, right? He's always scared.
Always whimpering and fearful, yes. But his loyalty is fierce. He keeps offering himself up, even his poor tender head, for Glew's shrinking person if it would help his friends. That's real courage, acting despite the fear.
He really is consistently brave in his own way. But the biggest discovery in Glew's hut is the book.
The book, which looks completely empty at first, but Taran, holding the Perilous,
The light reveals writing.
ancient, powerful writing. It's the spellbook of the House of Llyr. Eilonwy's family, it's her birthright. It reveals she's descended from powerful enchantresses.
That is massive. It explains the something other Gwydion suspected Achren was after. Eilonwy's hidden power.
Exactly. It sets up the final confrontation. Eilonwy has this power, this heritage she didn't even know about, and now Achren wants to exploit it.
Which brings us to Caercollar, the ruined castle, Eilonwy's ancestral home.
Yes. Ominous place. And when they arrive, Taran finds Eilonwy, but she's changed.
Acren's spell.
Deep under Acren's spell. She doesn't recognize them. She calls Taran a keeper of pigs. Just devastating for Taran and Gurgi to see her like that.
And Acren's plan becomes clear.
Utterly clear. Awaken Eilonwy's magic, use her power to take over all of Prydain, even challenge Aeron himself. It's pure lust for power, trying to reclaim what she lost.
But Gwydion has one last move. A risky one.
Incredibly risky. He deliberately lets Achren know where the Perilous and the spellbook are.
Why? That sounds like handing her the keys.
Because he understands the magic. He knows the Perilous itself, the source of light and goodness, holds the key to breaking the spells, not just activating them. He's betting that its nature will counteract Acren's purpose.
Gambling that the light will overcome the darkness, essentially.
Precisely. And it leads to that fiery climax. Achren forces Eilonwy to start reading the spells.
The Perilous flashes.
Blindingly bright. And in that instant, Eilonwy seems to regain control just for a moment, and she hurls the book into this white-hot fire that appears.
Consuming the spells, the book, everything.
Yes. Caercollar starts to crumble, Acren's power is shattered, her reign of terror is over.
And Mag, what happens to him?
Oh, Mag gets his just desserts. His dreams of being King Mag collapse into dust. He's left humiliated, a maggot indeed, as Fflewddur predicted. A fitting end for pure vanity.
So the immediate threat is gone, but the ending has more nuances, right?
It does. The aftermath is full of interesting turns. First, their escape.
Who rescues them from the collapsing castle and the sea?
Llyan, the giant mountain cat. In a wonderful, surprising twist, she pulls them from the floodwater.
No way. After Fflewddur charmed her.
Apparently. He even jokes about keeping her as a pet. It shows how alliances can form in the strangest ways.
And Achren, she doesn't die.
No, she survives, but her power is broken. And Gwydion offers her refuge at Caer Dallben.
Wow. Mercy for the villain.
It speaks volumes about Gwydion, doesn't it? Maybe hinting that even someone like Achren isn't beyond some form of redemption, or at least containment with compassion.
And Eilonwy.
She wakes up, memory restored, sharp tongue and all, ready to argue with Taran again almost immediately. But she understands now what Taran was trying to do, why he was acting so strangely before.
And Taran himself. He must have changed through all this.
Immensely. He started as the assistant pig keeper, unsure of himself, nursing this crush. He ends it having faced incredible danger, made hard choices, protected his friends. He's become a leader in his own right.
And Gwydion acknowledges that, doesn't he?
He does. He gives Taran this final piece of wisdom. The destinies of men are woven one with the other. You can't turn away from your connections, your responsibilities. That's where true destiny lies.
Not in titles, but in actions and relationships.
Exactly. Gwydion explicitly praises Taran for his role in stopping Achren. His worth isn't about being a pig keeper or a prince. It's about what he did, the courage he showed.
So, bringing it back around, maybe the greatest strength really isn't about the title you hold.
Maybe it's about your convictions, your heart, your willingness to step up and be more than people expect.
And maybe the person you write off at first glance, the clumsy one, the quiet one, holds a key. Not just for the story, but for you too.
It makes you think, doesn't it? In our world, where we make snap judgments all the time, how many princelings are we dismissing too quickly?
How many bards or shoemakers do we overlook? And how many assistant pig keepers out there have the potential to change things just by choosing to find that inner light and be more than what we are?
It's definitely something to ponder. Looking a little deeper beyond the surface might surprise us.